Hey y'all, welcome to the TRYangle. So, in case you didn't know, February is Heart Health Month. In particular, women's heart health is celebrated. So, I thought it was appropriate for us to at least talk about it. In case you didn't know, heart disease is one of the #1 leading causes of death, and especially in the African American community. Things like high blood pressure and coronary heart disease, all those things kind of fall into that, under that umbrella. Today, I'm going to give you a couple of tips just on some of the things that you can do. You know, I mean, things like reducing stress, those will come along later, but today we're going to talk mostly about our diet, and we're going to talk about eating fruits and vegetables and kind of increasing that intake, doing the things that we can do. Let's get started. More fruits and vegetables and whole grains. Those are pretty simple, straight to the point things, okay? Fruit, of course, is high in fiber, you know that. Your green vegetables, spinach, kale, those leafy greens are all high in vitamin A, K, C, all of that. What we know is that vegetables are low in carbohydrates. So, you know, if that's something that you need to be looking out for as far as diabetes, counting those carbs is something we definitely need to take into consideration. Choosing lower fat or non-fat milks and dairy products. Whole grains, fiber, fiber, fiber. Most of us walking around are not where we should be with fiber. We are all insufficient almost on fiber. So fiber helps your bowels move like the way they're supposed to. And of course that keeps things flowing the way it should. So let's hop into some of these tips on what we can do. So as far as fruit and vegetable consumption, my friends at the Washington State University Extension say that don't stop at lettuce and tomato on your sandwich, and this is actually something that I like to do. I love me a good sandwich, #1. So try adding slices of cucumbers, zucchini, even green and red peppers. They always kind of add a little spunk to something, a spice, you know, not too spicy, but just a little kick. Or spinach leaves. I love to add spinach leaves, especially some of my like sub sandwiches. That's one of the favorites for me. So keeping a variety of fruits and vegetables on hand. Cutting up celery, putting it on the table with a little ranch dip or something like that. Hey, I know it doesn't sound like much, but it's something that, you know, that you can actually do. It's feasible. Cutting up oranges and apples and placing them in a bowl, you know, instead of having, here, you got a bowl of fruit sitting on the table, but okay, don't you see how people keep walking by it? Yeah, they don't want to do the work. That's okay. Cut those apples and oranges up for them. Put them in the refrigerator, or like I said, when you have company, wash up a bunch of grapes, sit them out on the table. You'd be surprised how many people unconsciously will just pick that fruit up and eat it. And kids, of course, love it. Brightening up dishes with like lemon and herbs. You know, lemon slices kind of make everything look better, even a glass of water, right? Add lemon slices to chicken. You can add it to pork, any kind of fish dishes, things like that. Herbs and spices always look good. You see nice little rosemary, or sometimes even as your garnishes, you know, sprinkle a little homemade vinaigrette dressing or something like that on it, and then hey, you can eat your garnishes around a pretty dish. Eat your greens around there. So choosing grains, beans, and starchy vegetables. Definitely want whole grains. Whole grains, whole grains, whole grains. We do not want refined grains. Refined grains are anything that has pretty much been bleached. White bread, white flour, you know, anything that's been bleached. We want to stay away from it. So you can use things like salsa and make baked potatoes. So that's what I'm saying. That's another way to incorporate vegetables. Who doesn't love a good salsa? Salsa, and you can make that simply with what? 4 or 5 different canned goods. Throw you some black beans, some corn, tomatoes, a couple of spices, mix all that up, got you some tortilla chips, bam. That's a salsa right there. You know, with what, 3-4 canned goods, that's a pretty good little deal. And then you get your 3 or 4 servings of vegetables as well. Okay? Try different kinds of beans and peas. Black beans, lima beans, pinto beans, my favorite. Lentils. If you are not into lentils, we are going to get you into them, so stay tuned for that. You can do mixed vegetables. Always frozen vegetables are wonderful. It doesn't have to be fresh. You know, that's something I hope to teach you a little bit more about. Fresh is not always best because, I mean, fresh can perish so quickly. So, you know, that leads to a lot of food waste. And that's another thing that we're definitely trying to avoid, especially with so many shortages going on now. Okay, my people. Cutting back on the salt. Woo! That's us. Omit or reduce salt in half. Okay? So things like Miss Dash, I'm not pushing or whatever, stuff for anybody. I ain't pushing P. none of that, but I'm actually pushing Dash. So stuff like Miss Dash and Accent, those are some seasons that are really good, and they are a lot less sodium that's, you know, than normal salt would be, but they actually add a lot of flavor to dishes. So try those out if you get a chance. Okay. Use lower sodium chicken broths, and when you do buy canned goods, always look for those lower sodium products or whatever. Usually they're kind of right there. Everything now has that option for the most part. And if you can't get that, of course you're going to rinse your beans and rinse things anyway, but that's what you're trying to do, is rinse away a lot of that sodium that's in there that it takes to actually preserve those canned goods. Then using fresh herbs and spices, like I said, again, fresh herbs and spices add a whole nother dimension to your dishes. Like, you're looking for spice, and we always think of spice as being heat. No, spice is flavor. Spice is what you can taste. Spice is like so much more than just salt. You know, have you ever had a dish and that's all you taste is a salty dish? You taste nothing more than just salt? No. Okay, so that's not what we want. Salt is not everything. It does sometimes enhance, and it's sometimes needed, but you don't need that much of it. Okay? So, what I want you all to do, try it from this angle. Incorporate more fruits and vegetables in your diet by setting them out on the table, making them convenient for yourself and others who, you know, may come over to your home, adding leafy greens like spinach instead of lettuce to sandwiches. Add more peppers to your diet, sauteed or raw. Raw peppers are really good. Like I said, add that. You can add that on a little tray with some celery. Cutting back on salt, just trying out those different seasonings that are on the market. They are there for a reason. Miss Dash, that's like for the Dash diet, for people who literally cannot have salt, who high blood pressure has affected to that extent. So they're there for a reason, and they make sense, you know. So I just want you all to try some things out, try it differently, and try it from this angle. Until next time, peace.